you doing today, family? So blessed to be with you guys today. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Grammy's been having a wonderful day. I've been doing a little housework. I took a little time to watch The Passion of the Christ because today is Good Friday. I don't know if this video will load tonight or tomorrow. Sometimes my internet's slow and it takes several hours to get a video up. But I'm so thankful to be with you guys today and so thankful to my Lord for the price that He paid for my salvation. And we're going to get in here and we're going to cook today. I'm basically going to be making a whole meal and kind of just letting you guys go along. But we're going to focus on the mac and cheese. We're going to focus on the mac and cheese. And you'll kind of see me doing other things. Kind of let you just hang out with me while I make dinner. How does that sound? Does that sound good? All right. So let's go over here without further ado. And right now what I'm doing is I'm going to get a pan out. I got my stuff out to make a few biscuits. We're going to have biscuits tonight. We're not going to worry about weight or anything like that. I've got my regular elbow macaroni that I'm going to be doing. Let's get you guys down here where you can see. And we're going to put this on to boil. I like to rinse my noodles. I like to rinse everything that I cook. Let me get my scissors. And so we're going to boil these until they're just tender. Just right at tender, because these is going to finish baking off in the oven. So what I usually do is put them in this pan. And then my pan has this drainer hose on the side of it. And I'm going to go over to the sink. I'm going to rinse this, drain it, and we're going to get it put on it until it's just tender. We don't want it to get too tender because then it'll be way soggy. And we don't want soggy mac and cheese. No, we don't. Alrighty, I'll be right back when these noodles are all the way done. Then we're gonna do some magic to them. All right, okay. I'll be back. I've got those noodles on, and another skillet. I have put on some green beans, and we're gonna turn those into balsamic vinaigrette green beans. And I have that recipe on my channel. All you got to do is go down and find it. I don't know how to put the little links on there yet, but I could put the links down in the description. So I'll find that description and put that in find that link and put it in my. I'm gonna be able to talk in a minute, y'all. Let me tell you. So I got me a little pan here, a cookie sheet. I'm going to get me just a little bit of spray because I have had some delicious pork chops marinating in the refrigerator. Let's go over here and get them. I'll let y'all kind of watch me walk over here to the refrigerator. Get out my pork chops. Now let me tell you what I've marinated them in. I got a little Worcestershire sauce in there. I got a little seasoning salt, little pepper, little garlic, little cumin. And I got a big old tablespoon of orange marmalade in there because nothing tastes better than a little bit of sweet pork chop. And so let's go down here and I'll let you guys see me get them out on the pan. Like I said, we're just going to put a meal together tonight. We're going to take them out. They smell so good. And these are big old pork chops, let me tell you. They're going to be good. And we're going to oven roast them. We're going to bake them in the oven and make them delicious. And of course, we won't eat all of this tonight. So there's some of that orange marmalade that didn't get all the mint way mixed in. And I'm definitely just going to kind of smear that around. And I don't waste this marinade. I actually just pour it over them. I would normally put a little dried onion in there, but I didn't have any dried onion. So we're going to make do without it. But that would be something else I would have added to it if I hadn't. So we're going to put these in the oven, uncovered. This sauce will thicken up with it. And it's going to be delicious. And I'll let you guys see what they look like when they're done. Alrighty. And then we're fixing to make some biscuits. And we're going to have a little talk while we make biscuits. But I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And we're going to make some biscuits here. And what I got a little milk. And I'm going to put the camera down so you're not looking at me. You're looking at what I'm doing. But I'm going to talk to you while we're doing this. Because I likes to talk. You know I'm a chatterbug, guys. I'm a chatterbug. So let's put this down here. And you can kind of see. I've already put some flour in there. But I'm going to add a little bit more flour into my sifter. And at this time, I'm going to add. We're going to just set that in there. And I'm going to add some of my my baking powder, my Clabber Girl baking powder into there. probably about 2 tablespoons. I like to put a lot of stuff in there. Let's set that over there out of the way. This is my pan we're going into, and we're going to make a beautiful drop biscuit today. We're not going to cut these out. We're going to make these in a kind of a way that my grandmother used to make them. And she used to take a board, she'd put it out, and she would use the sifter, and she would almost make a mountain. Or she always called it a volcano, but it was kind of like piled up in a mountain. And she would use lard or shortening, and she would work that in and cut that in. But we're going to use butter today, and I'm going to cut some butter in there in a different way. And then we're going to, if you can see, it's kind of in there. She would make a wheel. Let me bring you guys over so you can see this, what we're doing. And like I said, we're not focusing on 1 or 2 things too much. We're just kind of making a meal together tonight. But we make a well right there. And she would fill that well full of buttermilk, which I don't have buttermilk, but we're just going to use some regular old milk. And we'll fill it like that. Now, I have a little trick to doing my butter. You can take and you can cut it up, you can put it in there, but this butter is ice cold out of the refrigerator. And when you use ice cold butter out of the refrigerator, it's so much better. I use a grater, and I just grate my butter up into there. And I'm going to use probably about a half a stick of butter in it. Just get it grated up in there. It makes for some delicious biscuits, let me tell you. And that's about a half a stick, and we'll set that over there. Get up there. Don't lose any of that butter, because see, that butter gets trapped up in there, and you can take a knife or your hand and kind of just work that out. Okay. So I got those in there. Now I'm going to take my hand, and I'm just going to start working that together. And like I said, that's how my grandma did it. She would just kind of use her hand to kind of, she made the most fluffiest, delicious biscuits. Every one of my grandmothers had a different way, and my mother had a different way of making biscuits, and they all were delicious. I don't think I've ever tasted a bad biscuit. I've had some that were a little bit too done. Some that were, well, I have made some that I forgot to put the baking soda in, the baking powder in before, and they weren't all that delicious. But you kind of want to get that butter all worked in there. We're going to add a little bit more milk. Let me take the lid off the macaroni noodles. They were about to boil over. We don't want a lot of moisture in there, because we want those biscuits to be able to pat out and come into a ball and form a dough. That's what we're after. And when our hands all clean, then we'll know we're there. These will be some flaky biscuits, because they'll have be delicious. And like I said, today's not about making biscuits, because I've made biscuits 2 or 3 times on here. Today's just about putting a meal together, spending some time together, saying howdy do. I'm going to need just a little bit more milk, but I'm not going to put it on the ball. I'm going to put it over to the side. My hand's starting to come clean a little bit, just a little bit. And you can kind of work that off. And my hands are always clean. I was raised by a mother who has OCD, and let me tell you, when you got in the kitchen, you thought you was about ready to do some surgery. I'm telling you. Me and my brother used to pretend like we were doctors when we'd go in there. She'd say, "Did you wash your hands?" And we'd be like, "We washed our armpits. What are you talking about?" And then she'd have a fit. Let me tell you, I love my mama. She's a mess. All right, so we got our biscuits all done. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take about a ball out, and I'm going to roll them. And we may need to get a little flour. Let's get us a little flour on our hands. Sprinkle it with a little flour. There we go. And we're going to roll them. And we're going to set them on our pan. And these are just a roll biscuit. You don't You don't roll them out. You don't drop them with a spoon. You just roll them with your hand. Try not to squeeze them too much because you don't want to take too much air out of them. And they're just a quick, easy biscuit for when you're kind of in a hurry. A drop biscuit's the best because you don't have to get your hand down in there. You just spoon them out. But I'm going to make a... And they're not pretty. They're not meant to be pretty. They're just a biscuit you roll out and put on a pan. Cream cheese is about where we need it. So we're going to cut it off. Okay. So I'm going to add a little milk into it to kind of get that milkiness going. And remember, we have it off the heat. Well, we have the heat off, not off the heat. I want to keep it on the heat because I'm going to use it to melt some cheeses in there. So, I've got some Gouda and some Hook cheese over here that I had in the freezer. And I'm hoping it's thawed up enough for me to get it apart. But if not, we're going to make it work somehow. These cheeses are usually easy to get apart. So I got some of the beautiful Hook cheese. And we're just going to drop it in there. We're going to get some of the cheese going. Now, I could make the bechamel sauce and all of that stuff, but like I said, this is about making a quick, delicious macaroni and cheese that's good. Now, we got down to some that's frozen pretty good. Let me see if I can get some from the other side. I can't. We're not going to use every bit of this. I do want to save some to put on the top of it for bacon, but we're going to put that in there. Alrighty, let's get some Gouda. Gouda is like the best cheese for melting, but it doesn't have a really strong flavor. So this good old Hook cheddar cheese right here, old-fashioned cheese, is going to give us some of that flavor that we need to go in there. And see, this Gouda is just going to go in there, and it's going to thicken up and melt, and it's going to be so good. It's a couple of little pieces of Swiss cheese that was in here too. I'm going to add them. And let's get this, and let's start mixing this cheese in there. Start mixing it, making it delicious. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper, a little garlic at this time to it. You can see that's starting to get just cheesy good there. Let's add a little salt. We don't need a lot of salt because the cheese does have salt in it. These cheeses are salty. A little bit of pepper. And we're going to see how we end up. I may make a little slurry of cornstarch to kind of give me a little thickening. I'm trying to show you how to make a fast, easy macaroni and cheese. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Like I said, we could make a bechamel sauce, but I have made it like this too. And sometimes it's just better to experiment. We're going to add this other half a stick of real butter. You can use margarine if you want to, but I just happen to have some real butter. And that butter is salted, so we definitely ain't going to need salt. We're going to add that in there, and I'm going to put a lid on this and kind of let that cheese melt. We may have to add, you can see that cheese pool already. We may have to add a little bit more. These green beans just need to be turned down on low. And I'm going to kind of let this kind of melt down just on the burner that was hot, but it's cut off. And whenever I feel like it's set up and good, we're going to come back and we're going to put that in a casserole dish and we're going to put it in the oven. It's going to be good. We'll be right. Our biscuits sitting out over here. If you guys will turn around and come with me. They're done. They're ready to brown, but I'm not ready to take the temperature off the bottom of the heat yet. So I've set them out on the stove so I can turn the broiler on and get them brown. But what I'm going to do is I want them to have a little sweetness so that they'll go with that. With those pork chops. So we're going to add just a little bit of honey to the top of these biscuits, and it is just going to make them so good. And that honey's going to bake on top of there and give it a pretty glaze. You can see they puffed up nicely. They're a little rough. They're a rustic biscuit. They're not made to be beautiful. Just a little honey on each one of them. It's going to make it delicious. It's going to make it delicious. And so over here, this has reduced down. It's got a little bit more reducing to do, but it's reduced down some. What I did is I have 2 cans of green beans in here. And I drained 1 can and left 1 can with the liquid. I added my balsamic vinaigrette dressing in here. Not the balsamic vinaigrette, but the dressing like you would put on a salad. I use it for a lot of my vegetables. I love it in Brussels sprouts. I love it in green beans. I use it on broccoli sometimes. But we really love it on green beans. Really. So we're going to let those I'm going to uncover them, let them reduce down just a little bit more. We're waiting on these to go back in. Our mac and cheese is bubbling. Let me see if I can get you guys down here where you can kind of see. Also in the oven I have some chicken fries because my little girl don't like pork chops. I have a picky eater in the house, but I'll give you guys kind of a view of what's going on there. Don't that look delicious? Don't that look delicious? So, and that's how Grammy cooks around here. Sometimes. Not all the time, but my husband's had a long day today. He's on his weekend schedule and he's had to work. And I thought it would be nice for him to come home to a good home-cooked meal, which I cook something every night, but sometimes it might just be a grilled cheese sandwich and some soup. You know, all of us mothers have those nights where we just go to the quick meal. But I had a little extra time. I got my chores done around the house and got the house cleaned. I got a few things left to do. But I had time to make a meal. And I thought, hey, I need to have a video with you guys. I need to make a meal. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. So when we're ready to pull everything out, I'm going to show you. And the macaroni and cheese is simple. And I tell you, you know, we just got through doing the hashtag pantry raid collaboration, and I got a lot of you guys from that. Well, here's the thing. I had the stuff. I could have made a bechamel sauce. But I just want to show you, you can do it easy. A little bit of cornstarch in there will thicken that sauce right up for you. A little cheese melted in there, a little milk, a little salt and pepper, a little garlic, whatever you want to add to it. Little paprika is really good in it. Spice it up a little bit. But my family don't like spicy, so I have to do how they like it. And then I shredded cheese, a little bit of more of that hoop cheese on top of there. And then I put some of that smoked Gouda on the top of it, and we've got it in there baking. And the noodle's pretty much done. It was al dente. Look at me. I'm speaking in other languages. Isn't that wonderful? But anyway, we cooked it al dente, and then we're going to let it finish off in the oven, and we're going to let that bake until it comes together. And it's going to be delicious, and we're going to brown it on top, and when we bring it out, you're just going to love it. And like I said, sometimes it's not by a recipe, it's by look, and that's kind of how I'm doing this meal tonight. I just want you guys to get in the kitchen, and do some experimenting. Make some dishes, you know. You don't have to have a recipe all the time. Sometimes you just get in there and you think, pork chop, what will go with the pork chop? Steak, what will go with the steak? Chicken, what will go with chicken? You know, I need to go grocery shopping, but I really could put together probably about meals probably for about 3 or 4 weeks in this house without even going grocery shopping. That's how I'm blessed. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it may not be something that we want to have one night. It may be some fried spam, some fried potatoes, and some brown beans and some cornbread. Or fried bologna. Poor man steak. That's what we call it down here in the South. Fried bologna is some poor man steak, and it is good with some fried potatoes and onions, some sliced up tomatoes, some brown beans, white beans, pinto beans, black eyed peas, and some cornbread, whatever kind of beans you want, and that we be eating. We will be eating down here. Alrighty, when this is done, I'll be back. Okay, we're just about done. As you can see, I'm sweating, and I've been over this stove for a while. It's going to be like Hollywood for you guys. It's going to be snapped, done, and it's finished. But I just want to show you this mac and cheese. I am so proud of it. So let's go over here and let you guys see what I got going on. Okay, this is the mac and cheese right here. You see how it's beautiful and toasted off. Over here's our honey biscuits. Let me kind of hold it up like that. I'm going to make a plate in a minute. And see, they're a rustic biscuit. They're not made to be beautiful or anything like that. They're a crumble biscuit. Then this is the green beans that I made. And then you can see they reduced down. And they've made a sauce on them. And they're just beautiful. And we won't talk about this. This is just some chicken fries because my little girl won't eat she'll eat the biscuits and that and the mac and cheese, but she won't eat the green beans or the pork chops. This is for the pork chops. They're about ready to come out. I'm just going to, all I did was brush some barbecue sauce on them at the last minute and kind of let them cook. And woo-wee, does that steam come up into my eyeballs. So we're going to take them off. And we're going to lay them up on this platter. They are good and done. And this is how Grammy cooks around here when I got the time. And today I had the time because I had a Good Friday off. A lot of people had to work today, but Grammy had the day off. So we're going to put that pan back in there and we'll get it later. Make sure I cut off the oven so I don't catch anything on fire. And that's our pork chops. So let's get us a plate and let's put some of this mac and cheese on there. We're not going to try everything, but we are going to try this mac and cheese. I'm going to show you how. Look at that cheese pull on that mac and cheese. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you. And my little girl, she likes it a little bit milky, so I always like to cook it where it has the juice in the bottom. So let's get us a fork. Let's get you guys up here where you can see my face and see if I likes it. Look at that cheese pull. OMG. Let me tell you. You gonna have mac and cheese, you need to have mac and cheese. So I don't want to burn my lips off, so I'm gonna blow it for a second, okay? Woo! That's some good mac and cheese. Look at that. Can you see how it's roasted and how I toasted the top of it? And it still has the buttery sauce in it because I like mine where it comes out in squares and it's just cheesy, but my little girl likes it milky. So I have to make it where it has the little bit of sauce in there. But it's good. It's going to be some good eating tonight. I hope you guys are having a wonderful dinner wherever you're at. I love you. God bless you. Until next time, I'm Grammy Nene. Y'all have a blessed night.